Every year, millions of travelers get stopped, fined, delayed, or stranded because of airport rules nobody ever explained to them. These aren't obscure regulations buried in government documents. These are real rules enforced daily at every major airport in America and around the world. Flight attendants know them. TSA agents know them. Gate agents know them. But passengers are left to discover them the hard way, usually at the worst possible moment. Let's break down the airport rules that nobody explains, starting now. Rule 1. The Real ID deadline is no longer a warning. Starting May 7th, 2025, a standard state driver's license no longer gets you through TSA security for domestic flights. The Real ID Act, passed in 2005 and delayed repeatedly, is now fully enforced. Your license must display a star in the upper right corner to be Real ID compliant. Without it, you need a passport, military ID, or another federally accepted document. What nobody explains is the grace period is completely over. TSA agents cannot make exceptions. If you arrive at security without an acceptable ID, you will not fly regardless of how expensive your ticket was or how important your trip is. No supervisor override exists for this rule. The shocking part? Approximately 18% of American adults still don't have Real ID compliant identification as of early 2026. Millions of people are one domestic flight away from discovering this the worst possible way. Check your license right now. If there's no star, get to your DMV before your next flight. Rule 2. TSA's liquid rule has a hidden exception most people don't know. Everyone knows the 3-1-1 liquid rule. Containers must be 3.4 ounces or less, fitting in one quart-sized clear bag, one bag per passenger. What almost nobody knows is the medical and infant exemption that overrides this rule entirely. Medications in liquid form, including prescription and over-the-counter, are exempt from the 3.4-ounce limit. You can carry full-size liquid medications in your carry-on without placing them in your quart bag. You simply declare them separately at the checkpoint. Insulin, cough syrup, liquid vitamins, and even medical marijuana in states where it's legal, medicinally, all qualify under this exemption. Breast milk, formula, and juice for infants are also completely exempt from the 3.4-ounce rule. You can carry reasonable quantities without restriction. TSA defines reasonable as enough for the duration of travel, and agents are trained not to challenge parents on quantity. The catch? You must declare these items before placing your bag on the X-ray belt. Failing to declare them can result in additional screening, confiscation, or delays, even though the exemption protects you. Most parents and medication-dependent travelers lose their exemption rights simply because nobody told them to declare. Rule 3. The $100 bill problem at international airports. International travelers carrying cash face a rule that derails trips annually. U.S. Customs requires declaring cash or monetary instruments totaling $10,000 or more when entering or leaving the United States. What nobody explains is that this applies to the combined total across all family members traveling together. A family of 4, each carrying $3,000 in cash, technically carries $12,000 collectively and must declare it. Failure to declare doesn't result in a warning. U.S. Customs can seize the entire amount through civil asset forfeiture, and you must prove the money is legitimate to get it back, a process that takes months and requires legal fees that sometimes exceed the seized amount. The even lesser-known rule? Many countries have reciprocal laws with different thresholds. Canada's threshold is 10,000 Canadian dollars. The European Union requires declaration above 10,000 euros. Australia requires declaration above 10,000 Australian dollars. Crossing multiple borders on a single trip means navigating multiple declaration thresholds, and ignorance isn't a legal defense. What's remarkable is that declaring doesn't trigger taxes or confiscation. Customs simply records the amount. The only consequence of declaring is a brief conversation. The consequences of not declaring can be permanent loss of your travel funds. Rule 4. Your gate can change after you clear security. This seems obvious, but the operational implications aren't explained anywhere. When your gate changes after security, the airline is not obligated to announce it over a system you can hear if you're in a restaurant, bathroom, or quiet area. The gate change notification goes to your app, to the departure board, and to the public address system in the immediate gate area. That's it. What catches travelers is connecting flights at unfamiliar airports where gate changes move departures between concourses, requiring a tram, bus, or re-clearing of security. At Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson, gates can move between concourses A through F and the international terminal. At Dallas-Fort Worth, gates can switch between 5 terminals, requiring either an internal train or external security re-entry. The rule nobody explains. You are responsible for monitoring your gate. The airline's legal obligation ends with electronic notification. If you miss your flight because you were eating at a restaurant 200 feet from your original gate without checking your phone, the airline owes you nothing. Rebooking fees apply. The solution is simple but unannounced. Set your airline app to push notifications and check the departure board every 20 to 30 minutes, regardless of what the screen showed when you sat down. Rule 5. Checked baggage, weight limits are strictly enforced, but the fee structure has a hidden loophole. Most travelers know the 50-pound weight limit for checked bags. Most don't know that airlines weigh bags both at check-in and selectively at the gate for passengers who gate check items. But here's the rule. Nobody explains. The overweight fee structure creates a legal loophole that saves money. A bag weighing 51 to 70 pounds typically incurs a $100 overweight fee on major U.S. carriers. A bag weighing 71 pounds or more triggers a $200 fee. But if you're checking 2 bags, redistributing weight between them costs nothing and takes 2 minutes. Agents are required to allow you to redistribute weight if you request it, regardless of line length or departure proximity, as long as you're still within check-in timeframes. What's even less known, Southwest Airlines has no overweight fee for bags under 70 pounds for their Rapid Rewards, A-list preferred members, and certain credit card holders. Alaska Airlines allows a free weight redistribution between any checked bags without documentation requirements. Most passengers simply pay the overweight fee without asking whether redistribution is permitted. The hidden rule? If your bag is overweight due to an airline-applied tag, sticker, or device added by the carrier, the resulting weight overage cannot legally be charged to the passenger. Document the empty weight of your bag before travel to establish a baseline if this situation arises. Rule 6. The Airport Lounge. Access Rule. Most credit card holders miss. Millions of Americans carry credit cards that include airport lounge access as a benefit, but the access rules create a trap that results in unexpected charges. Priority Pass, the most common lounge access benefit, has specific guest policies that vary by card tier and lounge location. Chase Sapphire Reserve includes Priority Pass with unlimited guest access at no charge. The Platinum card from American Express includes Priority Pass, but charges $32 per guest at most locations. Capital One Venture X includes Priority Pass with 2 free guests. What nobody explains is that these policies change without notice, and individual lounge operators can impose additional restrictions beyond what your card promises. The rule that strands travelers. Priority Pass membership doesn't guarantee access to every lounge displaying the Priority Pass sign. Capacity restrictions allow lounges to deny access during peak periods even with valid membership. American Airlines Admirals Clubs, United Clubs, and Delta Sky Clubs have all implemented capacity restrictions that override Priority Pass access entirely during high traffic periods. The less-known rule: some airports have non-lounge Priority Pass benefits, including restaurant credits. At certain airports, Priority Pass members receive $28 to $36 in restaurant credits, usable at participating airport restaurants, completely unknown to most cardholders. Check the Priority Pass app for your specific airport before assuming a lounge is your only option. Have you ever been denied lounge access you thought you were entitled to? Comment below. Rule 7. Connecting flight responsibility rules nobody reads. Booking a connecting flight as a single itinerary versus 2 separate tickets creates entirely different legal universes that airlines never explain upfront. When booked as a single itinerary, the airline is responsible for rebooking you at no cost if you miss a connection due to their delay. When booked as separate tickets, you're legally on your own regardless of the cause. What nobody explains is that even single itinerary bookings have conditions. If you booked through a third-party platform like Expedia, Kayak, or Google Flights, and they constructed the itinerary by combining separate airlines, the responsibility for missed connections may fall on the booking platform rather than either airline. This distinction costs thousands of travelers their rebooking rights annually. The minimum connection time rule creates another hidden liability. Airlines publish minimum connection times for every airport, typically 30 to 45 minutes for domestic connections and 60 to 90 minutes for international. If your ticketed connection is at or above the published minimum and you miss it, the airline is responsible. If you purchased a connection below the published minimum, which booking platforms sometimes allow, you bear responsibility for the missed flight even on a single itinerary. What's most surprising? TSA PreCheck and Global Entry members have lower effective minimum connection times at many airports because they bypass standard screening. Airlines don't adjust published minimum connection times to reflect expedited screening access, meaning PreCheck members often have more buffer time than the published minimum suggests. Rule 8. The security line category you're probably in by mistake. TSA's security lanes include Standard, TSA PreCheck, Clear, and at some airports, TSA PreCheck with Clear combined. Most travelers understand these lanes conceptually, but don't understand the operational rules that govern them. Here's what nobody explains. TSA is PreCheck lane access is determined by your boarding pass, not your membership status. If you have PreCheck membership, but your airline didn't, apply it to a specific ticket, you go through standard screening regardless of your known traveler number on file. This happens when booking through third-party platforms that don't transmit known traveler numbers correctly, or when booking with an airline code share operated by a carrier where your PreCheck isn't recognized. Clear operates differently from PreCheck. Clear verifies your identity using biometrics, getting you to the front of the identity verification line. It does not provide expedited screening. Without pre-check, Clear members still remove shoes, laptops, and liquids. Many travelers pay $189 annually for Clear membership, believing it provides TSA pre-check benefits, which it doesn't independently. The rule nobody explains. If your pre-check wasn't applied correctly, you can show your known traveler number to a TSA supervisor at the checkpoint who can manually verify your status and grant access to the pre-check lane. Most travelers don't know this option exists, spending 45 minutes in standard screening when 2 minutes with a supervisor would have resolved the issue. Rule 9, the 24-hour rule: airlines don't advertise. Federal law requires airlines to hold reservations at the quoted price for 24 hours without payment, or to allow cancellation within 24 hours of booking for a full refund, provided the flight departs at least 7 days from booking. This applies to all airlines operating in the United States, regardless of fare class, including basic economy. What nobody explains is the "or" in that regulation. Airlines can choose to either hold the price for 24 hours without payment or allow cancellation within 24 hours. Most major airlines choose the cancellation option. This means you can book immediately to secure the price and cancel within 24 hours for a complete refund if you change your mind. The hidden application. This rule applies to price changes too. If you book a flight and the price drops within 24 hours, you can cancel the original booking under the 24-hour rule and rebook at the lower price, paying nothing in fees. Airlines don't advertise this because it directly reduces their revenue. The surprising limitation? The 7-day departure requirement is strict. If you book a flight departing in 5 days and immediately regret the decision, the 24-hour cancellation right doesn't apply. You're subject to the fare's standard cancellation policy, which for basic economy means no refund. Rule 10. Customs declaration forms and the agricultural rule that strands travelers. U.S. Customs and Border Protection requires every international traveler to declare all food items, regardless of quantity, commercial packaging, or country of origin. Most travelers interpret "declare" as reporting suspicious or unusual items. CBP interprets it as every single food item, including commercially packaged snacks, sealed candy, and even gum. The agricultural inspection rule is enforced more aggressively than most travelers realize. Fresh fruits, vegetables, meats, and soil are heavily restricted or outright prohibited from entering the U.S., but the rule extends to items that seem completely benign. Certain nuts require specific country documentation. Some dried fruits require inspection certificates. Even seeds embedded in specialty foods can trigger agricultural holds. What catches most travelers is the declaration form's legal status. Signing and submitting the form is a legal attestation. Failing to declare a single apple bought in the duty-free shop before landing constitutes a federal violation, carrying fines from $300 to $10,000 for first-time violations. CBP officers find undeclared items in approximately 1 in 14 inspected bags. The rule nobody explains. Declaring an item doesn't mean it will be confiscated. Officers assess declared items and frequently allow commercially packaged food products to pass without issue. The legal risk comes entirely from non-declaration. Travelers who declare everything and lose a piece of fruit face, no penalty whatsoever. The airport operates under hundreds of rules that experienced travelers learn through years of trial, expensive error, an occasional disaster. The rules in this breakdown aren't designed to trap you, but the airline industry, TSA, and customs agencies have no obligation to explain them proactively. Knowledge is your only protection. Save this video before your next flight, share it with someone who travels and doesn't know these rules, and comment below with the airport rule that cost you the most. Part 2 is coming, covering rules at the gate, on the plane, and at baggage claim that most passengers never discover until it's too late. If this helped you, hit that like button and subscribe. These are the travel truths that nobody hands you at the ticket counter.